I was trying to plan in my head how to start my conversation with you because we can go to a million places, right? I can tell people that you're my brother from another mother. You are this amazing, smart, funny, English, very insistent on proper English speaker.
That's what Dimapu tells me.
Yeah, well, that's what everybody who came through HerdBuoys. I mean, people who came through HerdBuoys say two things: one, happy and English; two, happy and dress code. Like, if your tie is too short, please go and change it. so for me, I'm just excited because you have become truly a guy I met who would have been my boss in 1997 to a human being who's just a special part of my life. You add your own color to the rainbow that makes this life of mine. But
oh, thank you.
For people who don't know you, how would you introduce Happy Ntshingila?
You know, there was a part of me that I used to explain, and then I decided not to explain it, because I thought, well, if that's who I am, then why am I explaining myself?
Yes.
So people say to me, when we look at you, you look like an unapproachable person. And then the very fact that they raise that, I guess, assumes that they then find me approachable. So it seems there must be something in my demeanor when people get a first impression of me that tells people that this guy is like unapproachable. Yes, which is actually, so when I was younger, I tried to explain it. Like, so when you explain it, you say to people, oh, me? No, come on, I'm approachable. I mean, you don't really say that, do you?
Yeah.
However, I love it because it becomes a defense mechanism. It protects me. It's a layer that protects me from potential abuse.
So it's a nuisance filter.
Yes, and I love that about me and my demeanor, because when in fact I guess you've broken through that barrier, then you find me approachable. That's good, as long as you know that there are limits and define limits yourself. I didn't. So that is I guess who I am. There's also another part. I mean, I don't suffer fools, but at the same time, I don't go out looking for war. So, I think it's that little teacher in me that wants to reach out to other people, which I guess I do in abundance, sometimes to my own detriment. And yeah, so I am that person, and I've reached that age where one reflects and says, sure, what did I bring to this earth? And as I always say to people, when you're young, you must take advantage of your youth in order to be able to define what's going to happen to you, because you've got to set, as we say, you've got to set goals and have certain thresholds. You need to have a house at a certain age, a family at a certain age, and all those things, and self-fulfillment at a certain age. Because when you are old, you cannot have those things. You can't be setting objectives when you are old. You can redefine yourself. You can take up studying, which is what Dr. Marutule did. But you cannot grow old and irrelevant. Which is I think that's what people do to themselves. You know, they say, I'm old now, and what to do? and I tend to ask people, so you woke up today and you felt that you are old now, and you are now in the what to do kind of. I mean, are your limbs not functioning anymore? Is your brain stopped? And the guy next door has decided to blow his leaves from his garden, and I'm sure you can hear the sound.
Yes.
He's
adding
yeah,
to
so that's really, I guess that's really who I am. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. I think, I was brought to this world to fulfill certain roles, others more than other people. Um, and and if one were to reflect, would I choose different? Would I have been a different happy? Would I have chosen different? No, I think you take that which has been dished out to you, and you make the most of it, which hopefully I think I did a good job of.
But you're also your mother.
I'm my mother's son.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what my sisters tell me. Yeah, may her soul, as they say, once again rest in peace.
No, because I think, and you can actually remind me what you remember about our first meeting, because I've always been very clear about the role your mother plays in the choices you have made, but also in the outcomes of the choices you have made. There's a very specific part of your heart that wants to make sure she is proud of the person you have become, and that's what I mean, that you're your mother's son. Am I right, or am I reading this wrong?
No. You're very, very correct. Whenever I think of my mother, and I remember doing an interview with Jenny Chris Williams, and she said to me, if there was one wish that you had and you could fulfill today, what would that be? And I said, oh, how I wish I could build my mother a house. Which is something that could never be fulfilled because she died young. But it's the values those types of people instill in you, that live with you for the rest of your life, and the struggles that they would have gone into to define what you become in life. And so when my mother passed away, I had the displeasure of having to go and collect her valuables at work. And they give you that envelope. My mom was a factory worker. They give you that envelope and you take it. And the interesting thing is, I never opened it. I took the envelope, and I think I was still in mourning, and I was filled with grief. I just wanted to leave that building, which ironically, by the way, happens to be the same building that APSA is built on, which means at some point I worked in the same
where your mother worked.
My mom worked, which is quite interesting. But so one day, after I had taken over her bedroom, I needed to use the drawers, and in the drawers was this envelope. Would have been like a couple of years later. I had never opened it, and it had money inside, cash, which was, I guess, due to her because she used to earn what she used to be paid what was referred to as fortnightly. Yeah.
So, fortnightly is every second week.
That's it, yeah. And my mom used to earn 258 rand every fortnight. And yet she managed to take me through university And you know, when you're a kid and you ask for money from your mom and your mom says, I don't have money, your immediate reaction is, how can you say you got no money when you work? Because, you know, as to children, work equals money and not how much money.
Yes.
And, you know, that broke me, obviously, when I saw that. And I mean, I still have that piece of paper today, which was in some kind of card. Yeah. And inside there was also a clocking card, you know, factory workers clock. But it was to teach me a lesson that, you know, there is that thing called how much is enough. And at the same time, there's this, I don't have enough, but I'm going to do enough for my kid to get to where he can get to. And, you know, I did the rest. I mean, when I studied, I knew I needed to get a bursary. And to get a bursary means you got to perform well. And to perform well means you got to work hard. And to work hard means you've got to be disciplined. And to be disciplined means you've got to have objectives. So I wanted to be, I was in there. And while my mom was still alive, my father had just passed away. And he passed away when I was 19. And she was then left with me and 3 other kids. And I was at university. And I needed to finish there in order to go and help her raise her children. Little did I know that, you know, she would also pass away quite early. And then I ended up, one morning I woke up and I had 4 children. And, you know, and as they say, the rest is history. And I didn't like go, oh my goodness, what do I do now? Of course, I would have been shocked by the experience. I was only 28. But I then decided, okay, that's it. You're the dad. You're going to have to bring up your siblings. And you got to do what you have to do. I mean, you know, 28 is young. Bringing up 3 of your siblings is not easy.
In South Africa as well.
Yeah, I mean, in South Africa during apartheid, you know, and then as if that was not enough, and then you start a business in South Africa during apartheid, and you start an advertising agency. You mad?
But what had you smoked? I mean, what had you and those 4 guys smoked? Because, you know, today, when you have conversations about transformation and BEE and people, I think people gloss over the complexity and the intensity of exclusion that was prevalent at the time that you guys founded HerdBuoys. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think people rush to the soundbite. First Black owned and Black managed ad agency. You speak of it as though the environment was equitable, that everybody had a chance, that everybody had equal opportunity, that everybody came from privilege, you know? So please, can you just do this thing justice by painting the picture of this is what it meant in 1992 to start an ad agency?
You know, to start I mean, we didn't know what we were doing, because the first thing that we started doing for about a year, when we had taken the decision to start an ad agency, is we started trying to raise funds to start an ad agency. We needed money. We needed somebody to fund us. And we found this guy who was a person who finds money for people. And he looked for money, and everywhere we went, we were denied this funding. I guess primarily because we were Black and we were male, probably going to steal the money. You know, this is South Africa after all, and there was apartheid, so they just didn't trust us.
Yeah, and you didn't go to schools that people could refer to.
No, we didn't. We didn't have the school. You know, we went to school in the townships, and we went to rural universities, and not because we wanted to go to the rural universities. The law said we must go to rural universities. So, yeah, no, we didn't have Big Brother somewhere who's going to look after us, or we didn't have old money to look after us. So everything was stacked against us. And we all came from Soweto. I mean, come on. But we didn't realize it then. But we were selling, because every time they asked us the question, yeah, but guys, what are you selling? And we used to say, we're selling ourselves. We're selling experience. We are these guys who know so much about advertising. And they said, no, we can't invest in you. And we were wrong. We didn't need money to start an ad agency. We needed ourselves to start an ad agency. And maybe we needed a client, which is why it did not come by accident that the first client we got was National Southern Breweries, run by Black people. And the marketing director at Southern Breweries, National Southern Breweries, was a Black man. And he took a punt on us, So we started an ad agency the way everybody starts an ad agency. We started an ad agency from the boot of our car, using somebody else's resources while we were still employed by Ogilvy. So basically we used their resources. We used our brains, but we used their drawing paper and that kind of stuff, and some of their employees who would later come join us. That's how you start an ad agency. But it was difficult. You would know, but to go for 5 months without a salary. And, back then I earned 12,000 Rand a month. And 12,000 Rand a month in 1991 was a lot of money.
You were rich, dude.
And I walked away from that. And for 5 months now, I do not have money. And I've got huge responsibilities. But the first thing I had done is, when my mom passed away, I'd already bought myself. I was actually to my second house. And so I sold the house because I didn't want to have any debt, and moved back home with my siblings. In any case, that was the thing to do. So I didn't have a bond. The only debt I had was for my car. And at 28, you do drive a BMW 3 Series. I don't know why. You shouldn't, but I drove one. And I owed money to the bank. And the bank used to phone me every day. And I used to have this guy who insisted that I call him by his surname and refer to him as Mr. Nduli. Black guy, but he told me, I asked him, why must I call you Mr. Nduli? And he said, they were trained to not get familiar with the customers, especially the ones who don't pay their debt. Can't be friends with them. You need to repossess their car. So to go for 5 months without a salary is a very, very difficult thing. I may have mentioned to you that whatever happens to me, there is one thing that I would really, really, really not like to see happen to me ever again. It's called poverty. It is very, very difficult to go home and you know that there are children at home that are sitting there hungry and you cannot feed them. I did everything in my power. I used to try and augment my salary by writing articles for newspapers and doing all sorts of things, which I did to augment my income. I would go some days. I'd go visiting. I also had a bit of a good-looking face, so I could visit young ladies who could cook for me,
and they could feed you.
So I went there under the pretext that I'd come to visit, when in fact I had come to be fed.
To be fed.
While my siblings were eating the pumpkin place that I had cobbled together somehow, thanks to my grandmother who moved in with us and came all the way from Limpopo and stayed with with us in order to look after the kids. You know, that's what grandmothers do. So at least that gave me an opportunity to be able to work. And you know, you talk about the ad agency. We used to work 24 hours. You know, the deadlines were crazy. We were trying to impress, and the money was not coming in.
What was the plan, dude? What was the plan? Was the plan to start an agency that changes the world? The plan to start an agency to change the way people think of Black people? Was it to start an agency because you wanted to be your own bosses and make money? Like, what was the, you know, today people talk about purpose. So if you could retrofit it, what was the purpose of HerdBuoys?
We believed we could start a business that would be successful because we, as they always say in marketing, we saw that there was that gap in the market. That for sure, you could tell that what came to be known as the main market, thanks to us, was everybody in a meeting was talking about the black market, and you sat in rooms where people talk about insights, you know, that word insights, and you think, my goodness, if this industry is so lily white, then they don't know the insights. You cannot second guess black insights in the same way that I can't second guess white insights, you know. But they gave me a peek into their world.
Of course.
Through apartheid, they gave me a peek into their world. And they avoided us and made sure that their children do not get a peek into our world. Right? So we had an advantage. We were speaking their language. We were writing ads in their language.
Our parents were cleaning their homes.
Well, our parents were cleaning their homes and telling us their secrets.
Their secrets.
Yet, we lived the market. So when we said, no, it's not done like that, or when we said, yes, this is how it's going to be done, the likelihood was that we were correct. And, you know, that wonderful man, Mike Friedman, when we sat and did a strategy session with him, and we had this bravado saying, no, we don't want to be seen as a black agency. We want to be seen as a black-owned agency, because, you know, we straddle both worlds.
Yeah.
He asked us the question, I understand what you are saying, but he said, aren't you playing an away game? Because he said, right now, there is nothing wrong with you being experts in that market. Everybody's trying to get into it.
Yeah.
Own it. Of course, you understand that we did not want to be painted with a brush that says we only understand one side of the market. So, however, as a start, it wasn't going to hurt us. You know, when I tell people that when we sold that business, who our clients were, I mean, people think you're going to say Glenrick, Sunbeam Polish, Omo, Washington. No.
Kiwi.
No. We were SA Breweries. We were SAA. We were Rackets. We were
Eskom. MasterCard.
L'Oreal. You know, Coca-Cola, by the way, you know. And so because we were able to do all of those great things, we were safe. And I think I may have mentioned to you that at the beginning, all we wanted was to get an opportunity to get into someone's boardroom. And that's all we needed. If you allowed us into your boardroom, because everyone was like, there must be some black upstairs. When we walked into a boardroom, first we were properly dressed. proper. And so as a client, the likelihood is that you could also get taught how to dress.
Yeah.
Just an extra. We could, show you. As I say in my book, we didn't buy our meat where we bought our clothes.
Yes. Different departments, different stores.
Make sure, as long as they sell meat there, we do not buy our clothes.
Yes.
So when we wanted meat, we went to the butcher.
Yes.
And when we wanted clothes, we went to a proper boutique. So the point was, we walked into a boardroom and we looked like business people. And we stood up, and when we presented like proper business people. And because they made us, because we in business, we present in English. By the time we left, the client possibly would go to the office and open the dictionary and just check out one or two words that we may have said during the presentation. So we left them with no doubt for sure that these guys know what they're talking about, and we're not like some guys taking a chance. We knew the advertising game, and we knew it in and out. So we were not some Johnny come latelys, but it meant so much to us that we do succeed. So we didn't just start something because it was fashionable. It wasn't fashionable to start an ad agency or a business of that ilk in 1991. But we were not going to, because everybody at that time, if you remember, was, what do you do? No, I have a placement agency. That's because that's when people were still referred to as personnel. And people either had a research firm, or, oh no, I have a placement agency. That's really what we pushed into, and also an event management kind of agencies. That those things had become what Black people were doing when they started businesses, if they were not going to start a taxi business. So we came up with something that was totally different, and we did disrupt the market, and disrupted big time, as you know. So so the answer to your question is, it was difficult. After 5 months with grown-up men who have families and kids and all those responsibilities, people break up and go for the easy option. The 5 of us stuck together, and I mean, one of the stories we tell, and people find it incredulous, is that we would raise this money at the end of the month, let's say 15,000 Rand, 5 guys, you'd think 3 times 5. No, we didn't do that. We would ask, who has the biggest need right now? And, some of the guys had bonds, and then we'd say, okay, you take 10 now, and then we take 1 each. And next month, it's not you got, now this time it's my turn. It was, okay, how could I, and that built us. It built us because there was so much trust and understanding amongst ourselves that it will turn one day. And it turned one day, as you know. And that trust was always there amongst ourselves. Interesting. I mean, you do know that you get closer to one of the. It's a natural thing. But what we never used to do is we never used to visit each other's homes that much, because I guess we knew we were not going to get much food in that. But if I go visit food, there's a likelihood I won't get food. Rather visit other friends who are like-minded.